At the start.
Let it go, RJ.
At the start of this month, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Vince knows well.
I know.
Vince knows well.
I know too, but I'm trying to be nice on television. The Oklahoma City Thunder. Let's talk about them. They were within 3 games of the West Play-In tournament, but then they decided, maybe that's a little too close. So Al Horford, you sit down for a bit. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you've got plantar fasciitis. You don't need to play. The quest for the possible top draft pick was on. 14 straight losses later, the Thunder had the 5th worst record in the league. They entered Tuesday's game against the Celtics, starting this lineup, people. Lou Dort, the elder statesman at 22 years old. And despite all of that effort, the Thunder then went on to win in Boston despite 39 points from Jaylen Brown. Now, the Celtics were without Jason Tatum and Kemba Walker, who were injured, but that defeat sparked this reaction post-game from Brown. Take a look.
Yeah, man. We got to play with more of a sense of urgency. Tonight, I feel like we didn't have the sense of urgency that we needed across the board. And a team that has some young, talented players came ready to play. And we got beat. We got to come and have some pride and play with some urgency. I didn't think tonight was the night we played with urgency, especially after a tough game against Charlotte 2 days ago where we got kicked.
The Celtics are now even with the Heat for 6th in the East. The Boston does own the tiebreaker for now with 2 games versus Miami left, though. Richard, I can imagine when you are trying to win and then you play a team that, let's just be honest, is trying very hard not to win, and you're the one who loses. I mean, what do you think about what Jaylen had to say?
Well, he was right. So I called the game last night, and when you watch this team, even against Charlotte, the Boston Celtics, they were a step slow. They were just a step slow. And I don't want to hear about who they didn't have, right? Yes, they were missing Kemba Walker. Yes, they were missing Jason Tatum. You know who they did have on the court? They had Marcus Smart. They had Jaylen Brown, who was an all-star. They had Tristan Thompson. Peyton Pritchard had a career high, right? So they had guys that were contributing. Evan Fournier. So they might have had 5 of the top 6 players on the court. Ultimately, they just didn't have a sense of urgency. They were down 10, and they just never got it going. And this Celtics team, this is not the same talented Celtics team that you've seen in the last 3 or 4 years. And you just have to take away that and just understand that this year, it's just, I don't think it's going to end pretty for them.
I tell you, Jaylen Brown is right. They didn't bring it, and I was concerned with them early in the year, and I really felt they were going to be a top 4 team just with all the talent that they had on the team, and then they're sitting in 8th spot. I'm like, oh no. Then you give them a pass because you said they're missing their heartbeat. Who's their heartbeat? Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart comes back. All of a sudden they take off and they're in 6th place. But then it's just been a rocky road for him. And I agree with Richard when he says it doesn't matter who you have because you have enough talent, scoring-wise and defensively, out there still without Tatum and without Kemba Walker. But right now, it's just, I don't know. The Celtics just seem like they're stuck in mud right now. And they're going to mess around and put themselves in the play-in tournament and not play well and put themselves out of the playoffs.
Yeah, it's certainly not the level of expectation that, forget Celtics fans, the Celtics themselves have of themselves. They've been in the Eastern Conference Finals 3 of the last 4 years, kind of sneaky, really influence on the East. And yet right now it looks like they can't kind of get that consistency they need so much. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.